The following podcast has been paid for by Let Me Book the Territory.
In a world where A-Dub and E-Ray have left their mics, a man emerges from Bill and Ted's phone booth that also kind of looks like a DeLorean to give the people what they didn't even know they needed. He captivates the masses with his stories of quantum leaping from one wrestling era to another, comparing and contrasting the wrestling world of old with the wrestling world of today in only the way he can. Ladies and gentlemen, Let Me Book the Territory proudly presents The B.A. Show, featuring Sean from Fourth Rope Wrestling, powered by the Embrace the Turn Up Network.
Hey yo, this is episode 19 of The B.A. Show. You already know the ridiculous intro's gotta be the one and only. It's I, B.A.D.B.I.C., a.k.a. Black IRS, a.k.a. the beef of the motherfucking East, B.A. Bigelow. And for tonight, scumbag ref Nick Patrick, here at your services. So with that said, if I'm scumbag ref Nick Patrick, you know I gotta be hanging out with other scumbags. Some of them might be Marcus Alexander Bagwell, a.k.a. the Buffs on the Stuff. I know that's a different nickname because we talking 97, but at the end of the day, you already know who he is. He's producer extraordinaire of the Let Me Book the Territory universe. My sidekick, my wise man, the only man that can keep this whole thing together because it can't be my scatterbrain ass. It is him, Sean, the homie from Fourth Rope. What is going on, Glock Lesnar?
Oh, not much. I'm off the stuff tonight, as the name suggests.
Sounds like it.
Because oh God, yes, you know. Because this is a very near and dear pay-per-view to my heart, even though this is a retrospective in all of my eyes. This is some shit. And I know I don't have all the knowledge, BA. I don't have all the knowledge. I don't have the answers today. This isn't 2006. And I know you have a good... Exactly, and you got a good repertoire of knowledge up in there, but we had to bring in the big guns. Some specialty.
Yes.
So, sir, I need you to expose the people to this special energy, this just mind of WCW knowledge that nobody even knew we had in our bag. It's just incredible.
Absolutely.
What is this knowledge that we brought along today?
Oh yeah, like 'cause as the wise man said, anytime we get into some real deep retrospective, and the pay-per-view we're covering this evening, as I will tell you here in a second, is like a culmination of a crazy year in wrestling. Like I said, 1997. I had to go bring the homie over to our platform today. We showed up on his a few months ago. Had to bring him in for a very special topic this evening. From the Coming Down the Aisle podcast, none other than friend of show, the homie J-Bone at your services. J-Bone, what is going on?
What up? It's me, J-Bone, a.k.a. Say Hello to the Bone Guy, a.k.a. Bobby the Bone Heenan, a.k.a. the voice of your adulthood, Boney Shivani, a.k.a. Promoter of the Year, BoneyCon, at your service, ready to do the damn thing.
Man, coming with the fucking AKAs.
Hey, y'all got the AKAs. I got to do the AKAs.
Man, just say, you came correct, brother. You know where you know where you at, man. You at the BA show, man. This is what we do here. You already came prepared. He knew what was up from our appearance on his show. Great episode, by the way. Go check it out. Go check out all his stuff. Love his content. Definitely speaks to what we do here, which is why I had to bring him in, covering pay-per-view of sorts that people remember for all the wrong reasons, I'd say. As we think of 1997, we've gotten into some 97 with this company here this year. It would be WCW, and it'd be their WrestleMania, so to speak, Starcade of the year 1997. Yeah, so like I said earlier, the year of 1997 in general, big in just wrestling. Both companies, WCW, WWF, hell, even ECW, definitely made some noise this year. So there was a lot of like energy, very similar to where we sit now in time. Before we get into DeLorean, as far as current wrestling now, it's a very special energy spinning around between the crazy companies that exist today. But back in '97. Very different energy, but very also similar too. Just as far as where both of these companies were at. So yeah, like we said, 97 top of the year. You got, as far as WCW goes, NWO's on fire. So much on fire. They have their own effing pay-per-view sold out. The first edition, which is ridiculous. It's a meh pay-per-view in my opinion. It's not a fun watch to watch back. I've watched it a couple times just in lazy watches before even entering the podcast world. This is why I don't think we're gonna talk about that for quite a while. But hey, you never know; it could get crazy.
They have that Eddie Guerrero versus Six match, which is on fire, just fire.
That shit is on fire. Eddie Guerrero in general in '97, as we saw on this pay-per-view and others this year. Because this is the year he also has the match with Ray in the purple suit that he wears. That iconic cruiserweight match at Halloween Havoc. So yeah, the year of Eddie for sure. To that point of that shit pay-per-view, and that being one of the most memorable moments of it was an undercard match, or mid-card match, I should say, with Six and him battling out for that cruiserweight title. But yeah, outside of that, really beginning of the year, WCW, January, February, March-ish. About March, we get the pay-per-view Slamboree. And as we kind of remember, covered here, as a matter of fact, Fall Brawl 96. Very comically covered, I'd say, as far as that War Games match that year. J-Mo, I don't know if you remember specifically. You probably do. You know, this is our era. As far as the match that year was like Sting Squadron, so to speak, of like Macho Man, him, Lex. I can't remember who the fourth would be, but just insert WCW guy who doesn't matter here, I'm sure. And then the NWO of Hogan, Hall, Nash, and I believe the Giant. But yes, quite ridiculous. There's a scene in that match where you get the fake Sting shit happening. And fucking fake Sting tries to get at Lex Luger. Lex Luger thinks it's the real Sting, and then there's a scene in which I believe it's Lex Luger's literally about to get snapped in half between like two members of the NWO, like put him in a Boston Crab, and somebody's like sitting on his back, and then Sting's like F y'all basically at that point in time, and there's a scene of Lex Luger crawling down the aisle screaming Stinger, Stinger. Stinger. So that's the last time we saw Sting. So to that point, J-Bo, tell us a little bit about Slamboree and why the Stinger coming back is so important.
Well, coming up, so he does make a couple more appearances, but he announces he's a free agent. He's a free agent. He comes out with the first iteration of the white and black face paint. Not quite exactly like we know it as today. It's still like a little bit Stinger, but it's like, you know, sad clown ultimate warrior mixture kind of going.
Very good description. Yes.
Yeah.
Not really sure what's happening, but he's attempting at it. Just trying to form the Crow Sting character. And I don't know if y'all realize this too, but Scott Hall was the one that actually came up with the Crow Sting character.
Yes, very good
so
point.
He actually turned to Sting. This was like his debut, and it was like, "Hey yo, you gonna wear the happy guy tights all your career?" And
Jesus,
that's when he kind of gave him the idea. But anyways, so he declares he's a free agent. People aren't really sure what that means. He goes away for a little while. He starts growing out the hair. He starts acting like the weird cousin that's appearing in the rafters. You're not really sure what's happening.
In the trench coats.
You know, that you have the trench coats.
Pouting in the rafters.
Yeah, out in the rafters, just like, just on some wild shit for sure. And so he makes appearances where it appears like he's gonna attack, members of WCW. I remember one specifically. Macho hasn't quite turned yet into the NWO, but he's like sitting in a chair, and Sting drops down, and he's got the bat in his hand. It's like, oh, is he about to hit Macho? So goes on and on, and then there's this big, huge match at Slamboree. It's like a multi-man match. Like they love to do those.
Of course.
Back in WCW.
6-man mean nothing fucking match for the absolutely nothing title.
Right, yeah. So it was, the NWO basically, of course, squashes WCW, Team WCW again. And Sting drops down. He thinks they're about to celebrate and become part of the team, and he wrecks house. He's got the bat, and that's it. But he's still attacking WCW guys. You're not really sure what's happened throughout the whole year. So that's kind of where we're going through. And then we still, as we go throughout the year, we still see things happening. We're progressing with Sting, and he's, basically just a lone wolf at this point. He's still not a part of any type of team.
Yeah, for real. It's wild because to the point of what J-Bone's saying about just like the whole Sting thing. I remember at that time flicking back and forth between Raw and Nitro. My channel always ended on Nitro because the Sting segment always closed out the show. And that's what I was going back for. Like, what the fuck is Sting gonna do tonight? Is he gonna show up? Because the NWO promo usually close out the show. Who are they gonna embarrass this week? Whose ass are they gonna whoop this week, basically? And Sting will come out sometimes he wouldn't. So, yeah, that shit was must-see TV. Because I know during that little bubble of time in '97, my TV usually ended on TNT. At that point of the flicking back and forth. To that point, flicking back to USA Network and Monday Night Raw, beginning of the year for the big WWF. Beginning of the year, first quarter is always Royal Rumble season, fucking WrestleMania season, Royal Rumble '97. I want to say that was the Undertaker who won that Royal Rumble.
It was actually Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
But how now J-Bone, enlighten my memory.
That was a part of his repeat.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, now, why didn't he wrestle? Because '97 is the year of WrestleMania 13, correct?
Right. So there's controversy with that Royal Rumble. He gets eliminated. The refs don't see it. He slides back on in there and he dumps Bret Hart over the top ropes to win the Royal Rumble. So then they do the Final Four, which that was a weird situation too.
Yes. Sparking my brain back. Yes.
And Bret Hart ends up winning the title back, but he loses it the next night to Sid.
Yep.
And the original plans were supposed to be Shawn and Bret again. That was the original plans. But Shawn lost his smile.
Yep. Again.
Lost his smile, and so he said he had to go home. As Bret,
I'm not laying down for nobody.
As Bret likes to say, as he said in that promo at WrestleMania 13, you got that pussyfoot injury coming in.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was a wild time. They didn't know where it landed. So I think Undertaker must have won like some kind of #1 contenders match or something along those lines.
That's what I was saying. That's how he won that. Like, it was a 4-way from the last 4 people that were in the Royal Rumble that got to wrestle for that opportunity to wrestle. At that point, Sid at WrestleMania 13. So that's because I don't remember Undertaker standing in the middle of the ring. The Stone Cold ending speaks very truly.
Right.
So that said, you got Bret Hart becoming a heel all of a sudden at WrestleMania 13. They have that infamous street fight with Ken Shamrock as the ref, special guest ref. Honestly, that match, like, I poor Taker, because how do you follow that up as a main event? Like, everybody, I just remember being like, damn, like, that shit. I was not expecting that from those two, watching that live as a kid. And then from there, as far as 1997 goes, Taker holds the belt, doesn't hold it the whole year, drops it to Bret at SummerSlam in the summer. Bret then basically goes all wild with the Hart Foundation gimmick again, turning heel, enters Shawn Michaels and D-Generation X, and we already kind of know where that goes, as we'll kind of go down here with the Montreal screw job and all that fun stuff. So yeah, but I'm sure there's some notes I'm missing in the middle here. That's
the crux of it, everything really. But I mean, we'll definitely get into it a lot more. But basically, Bret kind of joins this whole path together into Starcade '97, and then you kind of almost split back off, almost like it's weird, you know. So
yes,
it's a weird situation.
I'd call it very CM Punk like in 2023. In all honesty, when you think about the irony of AEW exit entering WWE when he enters it and where he's going with it, and he's a Bret guy. Hey, you draw a lot of correlation on this show. That's what I can't ignore as I talk through that and kind of look into the Bret Hart point of it. But yeah, with that said, man, there's a lot of star-crossed stuff going on there with Bret Hart, WCW and WWF exit, and everybody knows about the Montreal screw job. We talked about it, I think the last episode here at the BA show, as far as the infamous SummerSlam moment, or excuse me, Survivor Series moments. So yeah, with that said, Starcade '97. As far as getting into it, interesting show. As we said, this whole Sting thing in 1997 was huge, big money on Nitros. There was an amazing build. You didn't see builds like this in '97 in either company, to the point of how we were talking about the crazy booking of the WWF title. Like, that sounds wild as you talk about that, like how many people held it and when and why. Whereas you got this little slow-paced thing, Hollywood Hogan just running wild in WCW, and everybody wants Sting to be the fucking savior, but will he, won't he? Will he do it? You got, and to the point of the rodney Halloween Havoc review, fake Stings running around, all sorts of crazy shit happening. Fans entering the ring and getting beat up by those Roddy Piper and Hogan. Craziest ending to a pay-per-view, by the way. Wild. Go back and check that episode out. Crazy.
Fans love charging the ring from WCW.
Insane, bro. And that, man, somebody needs to go find it. Somebody got to interview that guy that got his ass whooped from the crowd that had the Sting mask on. Hilarious. Yeah. Where are they now? So with that said, Starcade '97 built up a lot around that build. Sting versus Hogan. Sting finally said, "Let's do it, Hogan. We gonna fight for the fucking big gold." Also, all sorts of underneath stuff happening with that card. Period. The opener of that card. First, it takes place in DC, as I always say. Gotta let people know where it happened. Didn't catch the attendance though. Who cares? Anyways,
yeah, I think they announced.
I got the numbers if you need it.
Yeah, was it 24,000 or something like that? They said.
It's okay. So it takes place in Washington D.C. We have an attendance of 17,500. And this took place on December 28th, 1997. And not a sellout, not at all. Not a sellout, not at all. Yes. It wasn't sold out,
that's wild,
so to speak.
New world order. Yes, I get that completely. So like as far as the tone around this show, heavy, just WCW sick of getting their asses kicked, their fucking lunch money taken every day by the NWO. Basically, you can hear it in the announcer's voice. They've just had fucking enough of the NWO shenanigans, and they're just clinging on any sort of anything they can hang on their hat on is fucking just as far as something that they're doing better than NWO. Like I said, I'll get to here more in a second, but first, as always in this era of WCW, 96, 97, even 98 even, the opening cards, fire-ass cruiserweight match. The Iceman, Mr. 1000 holds, Dean Malenko versus cruiserweight champ Eddie Mysterio Jr. or Senior. No, Eddie Guerrero Senior, but Junior. Dom's dad, basically, is what I'm trying to say. The Dom vibes are heavy.
Yeah, the Dom. Yes, that's definitely one thing I was picking up. Was like, jeez, that mullet. I really think he's his son.
Oh yeah, it's so good. Like it's such a shout out to Dom Mysterio and the work he's done as a heel. To that point, when you go back and see Eddie now, that's how you know he's doing good shit. You think of him when you see Eddie back in the day, like damn, Dom's doing a good job. Especially this Eddie Guerrero,
right?
Where he was just a dickhead here, as a cruiserweight champ at this point in time, but. Yeah, great match, great spots. There was some crazy little the spot with the chair, with the stairs, the walk up stairs on the outside of the ring. That was harsh. Cruiserweight grabs, but then you got Dean Malenko and his submission stuff. Which you wouldn't think would mix. It does. It goes quite well. It does a nice little peanut butter and jelly effect there. You would think it would be kind of like Eddie Guerrero has to be like another high flying cruiserweight to make his shit pop at this time, but not really.
They had some barn burner matches in ECW too.
Oh, I fucking believe it. Yes, I 100% believe
some
it.
crazy matches in ECW. That's really what let him get signed to WCW. Really.
So absolutely. That shout out to Paul Lee. Yeah, him bringing those guys over there and WCW, seeing them through ECW's eyes. Them, Rey Mysterio as well, Chris Jericho. All those dudes, amazing. As far as like how that all worked out for them. But yeah, we start with some almost too good for this card wrestling here. We start up the card. Next, to the point of what I was saying earlier, we get a Scott Hall promo. Like I said, some things weirdly stuck out in this card. One thing, and I know there's a reason for it, and I know we'll get to it here in a second, but no Big Sexy, man. No Kevin Nash.
Right.
The Giant. The real Giant is marketed because I believe he was supposed to have some sort of match with the Giant. But all we get is a half-ass Scott Hall promo, basically, because he was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go out here and do this promo? Sure. But let me hear y'all take on this promo, man. It's pretty hilarious to me.
So, a quick shout out to my homie on the list. We do it every 2 weeks. Miles Weaver, the Ultimate Miles. You know, he kind of, I'll kind of reference it a little bit. But one thing that he put, he did like how it should read. One thing he talked about is how there should have been a Bret Scott Hall match right here.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And then like put it where the winner becomes the referee later on in the match we're talking about with Zbyszko and Bischoff. You know, put some stakes on it. You know, at least. I think that would have been a good booking. I think that would have been a good way too. You could have brought Bret in as just this kind of fiery babyface, like kind of almost like screw WWF. I'm here. I'm full WCW. Instead, they did this tweener thing, and they literally said that, like in the commentary, he's a tweener. But we'll talk about that later on, of course. But I think that match should have been right here instead of this promo. Look, I love the survey time promo. It's definitely, you know, it's part of his gimmick, whatever. But
yeah, man, it's McDonald's. It's Americana.
Right.
Like we know, it goes hand in hand. Like the survey says, one more for the good guy.
But you got to do that. You got to do that for Nitro. You can't do that for the biggest show of your company. That's just another mistake they made. You know, one of the many mistakes.
Yes, another drop of the ball here on this big pay-per-view of what it should have been. But yeah, just weird, bro. Wise Man, thoughts looking back from the Wayback Machine, because as we know here, Wise Man was not around here to watch this live as J-Bone and I were. So what were your thoughts looking back at this vibe of the promo pay-per-view so far?
It's weird, but at the same time, I like it. Only because I'm looking back retrospectively at the buildup of this year-long shit that they've been putting on, only to be later, you know, in my opinion, disappointed. But like I said, shout out to him, J-Bone's homeboy, providing a lot of insight that, you know, I just really don't know about these things, and really good. You should have had a Scott Hall and Bret match, honestly. right there. That would have worked out a lot better, in my opinion, to have that special guest referee later. So yeah, that was a good one. I like that. But yeah, overall, I fuck with it. I'm just ready to get my thoughts off about later on this card, because that's the good part.
Don't you worry, folks. As you know, BA show, we do some watch-alongs, and we're gonna be watching along the last two matches of this card, and pretty soon here, let's just go ahead and crank it up. We got as y'all remember, because at the time we weren't doing watch-alongs, but if you listen to our Halloween Havoc 97 at the beginning of the BA show, I want to say it's like episode 3. We went in on the Mongo and Alex Wright match. Not went in just because I was breaking down to the wise man how over Das Wonder Kid was at this time with his little dance, and you could see people in the crowd doing it and shit. Everybody loved it. It's just goofy shit people loved at WCW at this time. And Goldberg interferes, and in Goldberg fashion, he's stiff as fuck. Fucks Mongo up for real. So to that point, as October's not far from December, these guys are still feuding, and and also Goldberg debuts, I want to say, like in the fall, right, J-Bo?
Yeah,
at this point in time, yeah,
September '97. So he's 3 months into his career, basically. So
Jesus, dangerous, man. 3 months into his career, he said, not 3 months into WCW, like he was wrestling on the Indies. This man showed up to the power plant like right after he got cut from the Falcons, basically.
Right.
Like he was like, I want to wrestle, like
Greenberg,
like,
baby.
For real. So with that being said, our first watch along match of the evening is the blow off match of Mongo versus Goldberg at Starcade. Wise man, as far as the timestamp, we are watching this on Peacock. As far as the timestamp goes, it looks like 53 minutes and 30 seconds, if my eyes serve me correctly, wise man.
Yep, 53.
All right,
that is
so
correct.
yes, that's where we're gonna start this one off at. So with that being said,
we're gonna go ahead and start it
ready?
at 3, 2, 1, start.
Alrighty.
So I watched this back today, but I purposely skipped this match because I wanted to get a live reaction again of everything.
Smart man. Smart man.
Got to provide the good content, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
There he is,
All
Billy
right.
Badass.
Yep. Man, he is so green looking.
It's the big ass white boy from Georgia. Shit.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Corn
He was
fed.
literally, oh yeah. Literally was playing on somebody's defensive line.
Yeah.
Also, does your homie Miles have any intel on this guys they keep showing in the crowd throughout this entire pay-per-view wearing all these rings and NWO shirts? I'm like, are these guys like playing a league or something? Like,
Man, I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
They just 97 was a vibe, man. It was just a vibe.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
The camera was loving these dudes. Big vibes.
You know, 97 was all 90s in general, but 97 I
Yes.
think in particular was like all about like, look, I'm a part of a crew. Just in life. You had East Coast versus West Coast rappers.
To the point of Mongo walking down here still throwing up the fours for the Four
Right,
Horsemen in
exactly.
1997. Like anybody gives a fuck about the Four Horsemen in 1997.
I mean, you know,
Oh, shit.
you had you know, East Coast versus West Coast rappers going at it, you know, in 97.
Facts.
You had you know, people just started, the tribalism definitely started in America in that time. Big
Oh, yeah.
time.
Terrible.
So they're out
man.
fighting in the aisleway here.
Yep. Getting it in.
Yeah, these and pay attention to the posters. The posters are always pop me too. And you always find a couple that something
I'm usually
like
paying
Vince
attention to
blows
Mongo's terrible
Bischoff or
wrestling.
Bischoff blows Vince. Yeah,
It's pretty ridiculous.
it's pretty bad. pretty
This
bad.
table bit is kind of silly for this match. I don't know
Yeah.
what this is about. There's no way they said, yeah, Goldberg, you can use a table.
Yeah, use a
You
table.
just learned how to
Goldberg.
wrestle a couple months ago.
Yeah, grab your table, dog.
Right? Goldberg can do literally like 3 things in the ring right now.
Right.
And they got him in the ring with Mongo. Who's booking this shit? Is this Kevin Sullivan?
You know, I'm gonna, and this is the start of my rant here, but
Here we go. Let's do it.
so somebody has been getting on my nerves big time in the wrestling community lately is Eric fucking Bischoff.
Let's talk about it.
He loves to trash Tony Khan any chance he gets. And it's all stems from whenever Tony said, you know, we're not trying to be WCW or something to that effect, or trying to do it better than WCW. And dude just like can't stand it. And he's a fucking hypocrite. And it aggravates me because without AEW, we wouldn't be having the product on WWE we're having right now. So that's what just really aggravates me. So he comes in and criticizes
I can't
Tony
deny that.
for the shit that he did worse, like putting this on your television right now.
True, because he was too busy stretching in the back for his match.
Being Karate Man.
Right. Karate Man.
Karate Man.
You know, so I don't know. Eric Bischoff is definitely on my shit list, and I respected Eric Bischoff for the longest time, but I can't stand him.
He's a sour grapes kind of guy. He can't help it. I feel like too. When I hear him talk, when he talks about like Dave Meltzer, like he takes that shit so personal. I'd be like, bro, Dave Meltzer just getting a check just like you, man.
Right.
This ain't his fault. People buy his shit, believe what he talk about, because you got people at y'all companies talking to him since like 30 years ago.
Right.
So yeah, man, I'm with you on Bischoff there. He don't bother me as much just because I know where a lot of that stuff comes from. Like to the Tony Khan point, he's just mad because Tony Khan compared him to his failed company.
Why it bothers me is you have, and you know, my friends up at Turnbuckle Tavern, we call them Fed brainers. Okay, people who just buy into whatever WWE sells, no matter what. And they come in
shills.
and they just like. The shills,
I was about
baby.
to say, I could be considered a shill. I was someone call me a shill, but I don't take offense to it because I don't like to that point. Like I didn't mind this era of WCW. I grew up watching this. And to that point of like when our podcast, like the main show, got started, and when Vince was in the bag, like we shat on WWE quite consistently. But to that point though, to the AEW stuff, I will accept it here and there when it's decent, but for the most part, it's just not for me.
And that's fine. And that's
exactly.
fine. And
it's cool.
And I definitely am not here to defend AEW because they've had to put some shit out there for sure. But
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah,
match.
God
I'm
damn.
just gonna say it. Just gonna bring it up.
But it's
Never
hurting.
gonna forget that.
It's hurting the wrestling business because you have people buying into what these people are saying. You know. And
100%. Yeah.
That's where it gets me, honestly. So
it should be all love to that point.
Exactly.
Because it's all about wrestling and people trying to get as many eyes on wrestling as possible for the love of wrestling.
Right.
But I mean, and I'm gonna know what. Fuck it, we here. I'm gonna have to say it. I get myself in trouble because I don't like the tribalism that exists on social media within it. Like I can't personally look at it. Like it bothers me. Like yo, this is wrestling. Y'all are tripping.
I know.
You go either side of the aisle. I'm an Ohio State fan from being from Cleveland, residing in Cleveland, all that fun stuff. But the more you go towards Columbus, Ohio, sorry Ohio State fans, the more toxic the fan base becomes to that point. So that's kind of how I align my thinking with wrestling. Like, yeah, I will always align
Facts.
myself more with WWE if it's good shit. I grew up on it.
Right.
It's McDonald's
Yeah.
to me. I like a Big Mac. Fuck, I'm gonna go get a Big Mac when I got a taste for a Big Mac. And if Big Macs are good, damn right, I'm gonna buy 2 of them bitches. But if Burger King if they have some cool shit, and to the point of what AEW is, like, in my eyes, when Burger King does some sort of gimmick to get people at the door or something,
Yeah.
AEW can do that. And you know what? It's worked for them in the short term. That
Oh.
punk shit gonna hurt him in the long run. It sucks. As Mongo McMichael goes through a table,
Goes through
I
a
thought this should have
table.
been the end of the match personally, because I was like,
Does not look like a gimmick table either.
no, that's what I was saying. Like, there's no way nobody signed off on Goldberg doing this. To the point of what you're saying, how can Eric Bischoff judge anybody because he let shit like this happen in his company?
Got frozen, I think.
No
all
matter
good.
what you say about what goes on TV
get
at AEW, this happened first. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
with that said,
As Mongo tries a terrible
Mongo
ass
dropping that man
fucking.
is the saddest,
That shit was hilarious.
saddest looking thing ever.
Oh,
And that was a shitty jackhammer.
oh man. That was a shitty jackhammer. That was just a shitty match.
Yeah, and that's why we put it here, folks.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck are you gonna say about
We
that?
we talked about more about Eric Bischoff than we talked about the match.
Eric Bischoff and
totally-
AEW
That's
more
my
than the
fault,
actual
but-
match.
No, don't say sorry. Don't say sorry, bro. Because if it was that gripping on the television, we would have talked about it. Do not
The
be
grips.
sorry. As Goldberg probably real life hurt Mongo. Like, he hits him for real, by the way, here.
Yeah.
There's no pulling back.
What's y'all's take on Goldberg though?
At this point or just overall?
Oh, man.
Overall.
I think he serves a purpose in the history of in the history of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
The character of Goldberg serves a purpose. If the Ultimate Warrior is gonna exist and we prop up the Ultimate Warrior as people, I feel like people that are more like outside looking in, like, yeah, I grew up watching wrestling. I love the Ultimate Warrior, but when you really go back and look, people are like, I think I was a Hulk Hogan guy, and then they go back and listen to what he said, and they're like, I don't think I liked wrestling though. Anyways, but besides the point, Goldberg is like our Ultimate Warrior, J-Bone, to that point. Where I feel like, and this may be bad too, but kind of true too, Ryback is the wise man's Ultimate Warrior. And that's a terrible comparison, but it's kind of true too. But I say all that to
Jesus.
say, you need that big superhero, juggernaut, unreal type of character within wrestling to make wrestling be wrestling at the end of the day. You need those over-the-top characters. As much as we like guys that can do the high-flying shit and the graps and stuff, you gotta have those larger-than-life characters to keep the sports entertainment half of it alive, I feel like.
I feel that a lot. You know, I mean, he was definitely over in WCW. He
Stupid
drew a
over.
lot, drew a lot of money. I mean, ton of money. I mean, you can't deny that. And but I mean,
whole
at the end of
just
it,
whatever an old gimmick, it was
Yeah.
easy. So easy.
I think he hurt his legacy a little bit by coming back out of retirement. I mean, the 2016 run was whatever. 2017 run was whatever. That was fine, but it should have ended with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 33, and then just moved on.
I agree, but the fact, and then you can I blame Vince because they wrote the matches, the extra matches in his contract.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do that
Right.
to that
wow.
point.
Okay.
So they were just being greedy to the point of like on the episode of Infamous Survivor Series moments, like that whole era was just like, let's see what legend that we can kick the tires on and get them to get back in shape and get them to give us a couple matches. They weren't trying to really develop, like, to the point of how they would translate NXT talent onto the main roster. It wasn't a lot of it being done in a graceful manner outside of the people that they really, really, really knew that they were going to be fucking legit, like your Four Horsewomen and shit like that, and your Seths, your KOs, your Romans and shit like that.
Right.
So that's where they fucked up at, and thank the good Lord for Vince fucking up, because if he didn't fuck up, y'all imagine what this shit would look like right now? Because I can't. The BA show would be get going because I wouldn't be able to talk about the current product. Or we'd be talking, or AEW would be a much better place for wrestlers, it seems, and people wouldn't be trying to get back over or go over or get back to the WWE. So it'd be a different landscape, man, if Vince doesn't fuck up, which is crazy to think about on all sorts of levels. But yeah, to that point, to get back on the Starcade train. Yeah, the Goldberg match, it was interesting just because you see Goldberg in an interesting period, being very unsafe with a wrestler that was also unsafe, you could say, legendarily unsafe, as you see in his videos on Twitter, reels on Instagram, RIP Bago, without that said. But yeah, so as far as the rest of the card, you get... It's more into the Bret Hart, Eric Bischoff, to J Bone's point earlier, stuff. As far as other matches on this card, I'll just give him a couple minutes to breathe. You get this weird 6-man tag with fucking Virgil wrestling in jeans and a long sleeve shirt. Fucking
one funny thing too that hit me too in the match. Did you ever notice like the lower tier NWO guys had their own theme music?
The B team. They had their own. They're like off like.
B team NWO music is hilarious.
Right. The fact that Virgil's name was Director of Security Vincent, I was like, when did that ever be advertised?
So,
this had to be the only pay-per-view ever they introduced him as this way.
you know the ribs that kind of went on with Virgil. Vincent.
Oh, come on. Legendary. Meat Sauce Menace, man. Shout out to Virgil. You'll be on this show one day.
But,
one day.
Vince and Dusty went back and forth using Virgil as their own personal rib because...
Vincent and Virgil.
Dusty's real name is Virgil.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Yes, the real name Mike Jones. Far as the band Virgil, right? Exactly. Oh man. So Virgil, with that said, has been a living rib his entire career, essentially, till to this day. Shout out to Fuck Money. If you know, you know.
Money. Breadsticks.
Right.
Get my breadsticks. Where my breadsticks at? My breadsticks and my meat sauce.
Oh, God protect Virgil at all costs.
All costs. God.
Yes. And I hope that man's doing okay. I know he was sick and had some weird stuff going on.
I remember that he had a SummerSlam promo where he goes, "'Cause I'm too legit to quit."
I do remember that. Yes, that's what he fought.
And he got like snot coming out of his nose.
Yes. Man, when they let Virgil spin, man, that's how you know that he was probably one of the reasons why we need to probably start scripting this stuff, guys. This can't have us. It's getting bad. So you get him, Scott Norton, and who was the third guy? Macho Man.
Oh yeah,
randomly.
Freak out. Nobody freak out. Yeah, it's
Macho
Macho Man
and
Randy
his
Savage.
great fucking imitation. Coming out there unhinged, Miss Elizabeth trying to stop him from doing whatever the fuck he's gonna do. The Steiner, and they're fighting the Steiner brothers and Ray Traylor, aka Big Boss Man, in leather.
Random.
Very random. The leather threw me off. The leather and the cutoff. I'm just like, yo, they couldn't get this guy like a fucking like they couldn't dress him up like the Shield at least, like they did him in WWF. Come on, man.
Give him the
You're
leather,
like you left
brother.
like Cenobites Incorporated. Like it was, right, exactly. Leather pants, leather me brother. So them three, and then Scott Steiner's appearance at this time. Wrong show. So with that said, Scott Steiner has. This is an interesting period. This is where he's transitioning. I call it. From like 80s Frankensteiner. I mean, look at him. It literally looks
it really is,
he's
though.
morphing in the Big Papa Pump.
Right.
It's like he's fighting against it almost. Like he's wearing two different colored boots.
Yep.
He is literally the size of fucking the Thing from Fantastic Four.
It's like Bruce Banner and
Like
the
he
Hulk.
looks insane.
It's like Peter Parker.
He has a mullet, a goatee. That's all of his original hair color of black. Like it looks crazy to me. And I remember this vividly growing up. Just like how wild. Both of him and Rick Steiner always look nuts to me, but
Yeah.
Scott Steiner specifically.
Scott
this
Steiner
era-
looks like a coke dealer right here.
Oh, 100%. Yes, definitely looks like he's in like the fourth like cutout member of Pain and Gain and shit. Like it's
Oh my god.
it's wild, man. So they are tag champs. Ted DiBiase, shout out to Uncle Ted, is carrying out the belts, the WCW titles. So this match is a cluster. We get a Macho Man elbow, fire ass elbow, by the way. That's the only thing that stuck out from this match. Outside of that, just a shit show.
How does Macho not have a singles match on this card? Macho and Lex.
To the point of what you said earlier.
Macho Lex.
I
Come on now.
don't know what Eric Bischoff was doing or what drugs were going on backstage, but it looked like nobody was sitting in Gorilla. That's the only way that I could describe. Like, was anybody like checks and balance in anything that went out to the ring for real? Because it looked like nobody gave any fucks. And as we
Buff should have
man,
been in this match instead of getting that Buff and Lex. You know, we need to have Macho and Lex on the card.
Yes.
And Vicious and Delicious in this tag.
Right. Buff and Lex always in the ring. Like their styles never ever meshed because it's too just robot. It's like two robots trying to like wrestle. It's just not graceful at all. No offense to either one of those guys, but to the point, you gotta get a Macho Man on one of those guys. They don't need to be wrestling each other. All bad. Other things that happen on the underneath part of this card before we get into the last two matches. We get the Perry Saturn and Chris Benoit match. That was fire. That was a fun match to watch. Chris Benoit in that era with that Four Horsemen music, just
Fire.
looking so pissed off. Fuck yes, I was gonna say yeah. I don't even know if I'm allowed to like Chris Benoit, but hey, we're here.
That pre CTE's just getting soaked in.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to other stuff that happened on this card that's of note. Before we get to the big stuff here, Scott Hall somehow walks out of here. He's walking around with the WCW titles around, the tag team titles around his waist at some point in time. He like steals them during the 6-man tag match because his promo's right before it.
Well, they claim that they were the real tag champions, but it was really the Steiner brothers. So,
Right.
You know.
Correct.
I think it was him and Kevin Nash were they were claiming to be the tag champions.
Yeah, so they had to steal them. Typical NWO shit. But yeah, anything of note that I am missing?
DDP wins the United States Championship. Kurt Angle.
Yes.
Yep.
Besides the
WCW almost threw a party after that happened.
right.
Yes.
Besides the opening match, this was probably my favorite match. I mean, it's not it's not your technical match, but I mean, look, I love me some DDP, especially 97. And the finish is real cool too.
The tape rib and jeans DDP in 97 was a whole, speaking of vibes, that DDP was a whole vibe. And if you was around for it, that's when they talk about people's champion, love you, Dwayne. But DDP was the real people's champ in this era. Sorry, man. That everybody wanted the DDP, like to the point of like what I was saying. It was not cool to like WCW, but everybody fucked the DDP, no matter what.
Right.
Period. So yes, to that point, that was a great match. And WCW's like little hat or feather in the hat that they were fucking proud of and almost celebrated and shit like that. So we get into like the match before the main event and then the main event. Match before the main event. Probably why this whole pay-per-view, in my opinion, was the shits, because the guy that was responsible for this company was in a match before the main event. To the point of what J-Bone said, karate guy, Eric Bischoff, who does look like he's in good shape. He's been taking care of himself. Looks like he's hitting the Tybo pretty hard here. Shout out to Billy Blanks. Yes, definitely Tybo era here. He definitely told his wife, like, hey babe, what if I did this Tybo shit in the ring, huh? You think they let me do that? Because NWO for life. Yeah, brother.
He's just sitting there punching the air like, check this out. like a 5-year-old. Hey, mom, look at this kick. Look at this kick.
Look at this.
Right. Oh, yeah, exactly. Right. Because, like karate, when karate got cool, like everybody thought they could do that shit. And, like, yeah. That's 100% what it looks like to me.
Power Ranger Bischoff.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Then you get him against the Cruncher, fucking Larry Zbyszko, with his old man strength. He's ready to fuck Eric Bischoff up, and to the point of Halloween Havoc 97.
His underwear is going to the belly button.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know he in like, I'm about to whoop somebody's ass. Like I'm taking the belt off. Some youngin's about to catch gonna put Mr. Zbyszko for that Larry, sir. So with that said, these two guys are wrestling because of some beef that started back in Halloween Havoc 97. Zbyszko wasn't having it. I believe he was the referee of a match between Wise Man, Help Me Out If You Can, or J-Bone. I want to say it was Lex Luger. It was Bischoff, or excuse me, Zbyszko was the ref of a match at Halloween Havoc, but Eric Bischoff got involved in it, and they were beefing ever since. So this is like their grudge match, so to speak.
Trying to remember.
Yeah, no worries. Go back and listen to the episode if you really want to know, people. But that's what this is culminating, this match here. Like I said, it leads into the main event of Sting versus Hogan. No, not what
here.
Yeah, but no, it's not important. But then, like I said, after this match we watch along, we go right into the Hogan versus Sting match for the WCW title. And like we were saying, Bret Hart, a very Phil Brooks-esque character this year as far as playing both sides in both companies. And with that said, Bret Hart is not wrestling in any match on this card, but we see him at least 3 to 4 different times this evening because they just want to throw him in there, throw him in the mix. It's just silly. Just either let him wrestle in a match, bring him out as a surprise at the end, or don't use him at all.
Right.
Like, there's no point of this. To the point of, like, J-Bone and Al Bischoff looked at this shit. It looked like Bischoff had no fucking clue what he was doing.
Well,
he just wanted to get a new toy.
We'll talk about it a little bit more with the Sting Hogan stuff. But the use of Bret Hart, I think, is the biggest crime of this whole paper.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%.
I know a lot of people talk about the finish to Sting Hogan, but the use of Bret Hart, and it set the tone for WCW Bret Hart. That's the biggest issue with this. Like, you had Bret Hart, and you one night completely botched his WCW, and after one night. So, I mean, Bret has said it himself. He said, he knew it. He was in trouble right after this. So,
big time, man. So,
Facts.
That said, we get into the end of this card. The Bischoff versus Zbyszko match. We're starting at 1 hour and 59 minutes and 39 seconds. With that said, so Wise Man, if you will, sir.
1, 2, 3, and we're gonna go ahead and start. We got Dirty Dom at commentary.
Yeah.
Dirty Dom with that dirty stash.
For real.
Dirty Dom with a porno stash.
Mark Madden.
Fat Mark Madden too.
Right. Ric Flair's favorite commentator.
Yeah. And then some other jabron with the biggest laptop ever.
Right. Like an encyclopedia. Ridiculous.
All right. Oh yeah, this is the weird Bret Hart theme music.
Yeah. Oh, I was just
Man,
about to
they
say,
gave
who
no
the
fucks
fuck
about
is
Bret
this?
Hart. They gave no fucks about Bret Hart.
Poor Brett.
Yep. Just wear black, brother.
Yeah.
What do you want me to show up in? Just wear black.
Should I bring my
some
gear?
jeans and a
No,
black
you don't need
t-shirt.
that. You don't need that.
All black. We all wear black, brother.
Yeah.
J-Bone, I wanted to ask you this. The WCW guys sitting at the aisleways, I say bad look, terrible look. As far as what
I forgot to
the
bring that up.
message is sent.
It's terrible. You have fucking
It
Booker
rubbed
T.
me the wrong way.
Booker T and Harlem Heat, who is arguably, probably, maybe besides the Steiner brothers, the best tag team that WCW ever produced. Like, and they're sitting,
Agreed.
they're sitting in the crowd with the
Yep.
fans. Like, what are we
Yep.
doing?
Rey Mysterio on a mask.
Rey Mysterio, like it was.
I saw Glacier hanging out in the
Glacier.
crowd. I saw Hugh Morris in the nosebleeds. I saw Mortis in a mask hanging out. Like, it was wild. I'm just like, yo, this looks like Sesame Street. Like,
Yeah.
it looks like the puppets hanging out with the crowd members. I was just like, this does not look good.
You got members of the boys looking like marks. Like, what are we doing here?
man, exactly.
So
like, that's
weird.
what I'm saying. Because Eric Bischoff's too busy trying to look like this. That's why that shit was happening.
He had Scott Hall rub cocoa butter on his chest.
That is
before
what
he-
it looks like. Him in his karate shoes.
Put the lotion on the skin.
Put the lotion on his skin.
Man, Scott Hall working overtime tonight.
Yeah.
Doing
Yeah.
a whole bunch of stuff and then a whole bunch of nothing.
A whole bunch of. I was about to say, he's just making
Bischoff is
appearances. He
really
ain't doing a whole
trying.
lot.
This is such a bad look. He should have said
shoes
this
kill
isn't
the
a good
gimmick.
idea.
Horrible.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that's about.
Some Taekwondo boots. I don't know.
Yeah.
He is in decent shape. I'll give him credit for that.
That's all I was saying.
Not. He's definitely not a Vince, obviously.
No, man. He's not on Muscle Magazine, brother.
It's
30 pound chain around my
muscle
neck.
milk.
I don't miss a squat day. Every day is leg day.
I squat 1,200 pounds. Goddamn it.
He did say that shit.
Still
like
managed
last
to
year.
tear both quads.
Let me tell you
Right.
something. Every day I'm at the gym at 3 a.m. And I'm bumping iron, damn it. And I am a genetic jackhammer.
Y'all think Vince is still lifting right now? I think Vince still lifts. Definitely
Vince.
still
Well,
lifts.
he had that little back injury, but
I saw saying he's still doing something.
but he's
Vince,
doing
He might
something.
put a 45 on the bar.
He's got to have something to control.
Yeah. He's definitely doing arms for sure.
I'm convinced he'll live another 20 years. By the way,
Yeah, I think so too.
With his money,
he's on
absolutely.
that Queen Elizabeth plan.
Yeah,
Look at Larry Legend.
You
He'll
got
be
that
there for-
subscription
he'll-
with God, you know.
he'll be there for Mania 50 without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
You think that? What if
If I hear "Please welcome Vince McMahon" at Mania 50, I'm
you
gonna go
got
insane.
no chance.
It's
That's
gonna
what you
happen.
got.
We're only 10 years away. Vince is 78, something like that. So it'll be 88.
J
then?
Bone is not far off. These are all very much possible things.
So
And I think Vince McMahon's like spirit won't let him die. I think he keeps telling himself somehow he's gonna get this company back,
yeah,
or he's gonna create a company to beat this one somehow, or at least lay the seeds, and then give it to his
He'll
real
be
son
around.
John Cena in his eyes, the greatest of all
Happy birthday,
time.
son.
Well, you got Bret Hart here as a special guest referee doing referee stuff,
Why is
checking
Larry
boots.
Zbyszko in this ring?
Because he got
Great
sick
question.
of Eric Bischoff's shit, and he said, "I'm putting on the tights one more time. I'm gonna crunch ya, as his nickname says, being the cruncher.
How old is he at this point? Because I don't know if this is worse than Terry Funk
he's
in
old.
97.
He's definitely in his mid to late 50s.
He started off in the 70s.
Yes, he did. And he was wrestling in like, let me years is 97. He was wrestling like 5 years before this. He wasn't wrestling. This wasn't like too far-fetched. Larry Zbyszko was like in a tag team in like early 90s.
He's saying winning the world championship.
He's got those high undies.
Bobby Eaton or something. Yes, he does.
Covered up that belly button.
Larry Zbyszko
he got them hoes
definitely
up
has
there
old
like
man
Bob
strength
Backlund.
vibes. Oh yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Shit, he wrestled Bob Backlund probably.
He probably did, for real.
That's what I'm saying. Shit.
No shit.
Bret Hart wrestled Bob Backlund.
He did.
This time, he sure did. Man, that just tells you. Time out, man. Gotta throw some flowers at Bret Hart. Did you hear what I just said? They put this man in a feud with Bob Backlund.
And he made it
30 years before that.
And he made it
he still
like,
got him over.
Yeah, and he made it look like a fucking 10-star match in the Tokyo.
Yep. Shout out to Bret. Let's see Sean do that. Without crying about
it.
Oh my God! All right,
We're throwing
shots.
the poor old man under
We're gonna
the
have
bus.
a Sean versus Bret pod. We're gonna do that.
Oh baby.
Oh, I got some friends that will want to join that for sure. I got some buddies that I know will run their mouth about that one. No doubt in my mind. But yes, I can't deny that. I was like, man, Bret Hart dealt with some bullshit when during his title runs in WWF.
That the entranceway reminds me so much because it burned in my mind of WCW versus NWO Revenge for N64.
Oh yeah, shout out to Revenge.
Love that shit.
I did World Tour for the last cover art, so I might do Revenge for this one.
There you go.
That tracks.
Say hello.
That is that area. Yeah, this is like, yeah, because Revenge, that they had that they have that Starcade 97 shit in the ring and stuff. Yeah,
They slap boxing?
that tracks. Man, this match sucks. We're not here to talk about it for any good
it's
things.
pretty
It's
fucking
more
terrible.
Bret Hart, but this is what they're doing with Bret Hart,
Right.
to the point of
I
just
figured
Eric
when you
Bischoff
told me Larry
bullshit.
Zbyszko in 97 versus Eric Bischoff, this wasn't finna be no 5-star Meltzer jerk-off fest.
No, sir. We are not here for that. We are here for the bullshits. That's why we did not watch Eddie versus Dean Malenko. We were trying to watch decent shit on this card. Or DDP get the U.S. title off of Kurt Hennig. I wonder how... Oh, Bret hated this. Never mind. I was gonna say, I wonder how Bret felt. He told us he hated it.
It's probably a mockery to his lovely sport.
Oh, he didn't care.
So this is where I hate it. You're building Bret as a tweener right here, and they even, like I said, I think make note of it. And Bret should be like full blown. Hey, I'm here at WCW. I'm signed with WCW. Fuck the WWF. They fucked me over. Not to that effect, obviously, but they should be throwing shots. And there's
100%.
no reason why the day after Survivor Series, Bret Hart should be on Nitro.
I agree. That's what Vince was worried about. Shit, that's why all that drama happened. He was worried about him being on there with the
He should have been
WWF
there.
title. I agree. That's just to the point of what you're making. They and Vince says it, like, they had no idea what to do with Bret Hart.
Nope.
No clue. But how do you not? Like, he's so good. Like, Bret, yes, he's could be considered boring, whatever, but you tell him to do something,
changing,
damn
man.
it, he's gonna fucking do it. I don't know, man.
Tone was changing.
Yep.
This is... He should have, He should have killed him.
God, what are we even watching here? He's got fucking Kurt Angle metal
Oh,
straps
this is
on
awful.
his boots.
It's pretty bad.
This is so bad. Like, why is Scott Hall out here, man?
Scott
Well,
Hall's
he
gotta
does
be
serve
having
a
a
purpose
blast.
towards the end of the match.
Oh yeah, facts.
Oh, Scott Hall, and shout out. I know he had some issues, but he probably had a couple beers, just like your. That's just like me.
Oh,
right now.
1,000%.
I'm slightly loaded right now, a little bit, but.
I had one beer.
I mean, it's okay.
2 beers.
Yeah, man. It's not a kid's show.
What? Shot of whiskey. What?
Right.
A Bloody Mary. A shot of tequila.
Man.
What? What?
Another one. Yeah. This Bret Hart just yelling at people. This is so stupid.
Stum.
Like, how do you lead? Like, what were they thinking leading up to their main event with this? Were they trying to
Eric
make sure
Bischoff.
it was gonna look great because they put this on before it? Eric
I tell you-
Bischoff
This is
had
the
to be
closest
on
Eric
some
Bischoff can get
crazy
to the main
hallucination.
event without being in the main event.
I tell you what. No, what it was is Eric Bischoff got cocky, and he thought he had it in the bag. That's what it big was.
I don't know how. I mean, this is his first time at the table. I guess he didn't know what to do with it. I just don't understand.
Are you saying he thought he was going to have a
missteps
good ass
here.
match? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying like just the whole card.
The whole pay-per-view.
The whole
like, it's just-
pay-per-view.
This was supposed to be so much better. You could argue that this was part of the beginning of the end of them not winning the Monday Night War, because you gotta show up. This is your biggest pay-per-view of the year, and they've all been kind of bullshit all year up until this point.
Right.
To the point of the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view we reviewed. Just hodgepodge bullshit. That's why I was like, who's booking this? Like, none of it makes sense. Like, and it just gets worse until they get Bischoff out of there from
These
running this kind of
kicks,
shit
my
across the
God.
board. Oh, they're terrible. Billy Blanks is throwing up somewhere. He's like, that ain't my shit. I don't know what this dude's doing.
It's so funny.
This
I
is why
did
I always whoop
taekwondo as a
Bischoff's
kid,
ass in the
and I
games.
wore those.
Me too.
I wore those exact boots.
Y'all got to tell me about that, because I did not take taekwondo.
Oh,
And these boots
man.
look ridiculous.
It looks exactly like Bischoff right now.
Are they like, so you don't hurt somebody or hurt your foot? Are
But
they,
yeah,
like,
you
padded?
use that in sparring basically.
Oh, why is he wearing sparring shit in the match? Come on, bitch. Oh, I guess the heel shit. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
Man, this is so bad.
He's wearing his
They're
little
chanting,
jogger pants.
Larry.
That's what I'm saying.
Larry was somewhat over though, especially the start of
absolutely.
Nitro. The start of Nitro, he's out there doing his announcing.
Yep.
So much weird shit was over in '97. I mean, it's whatever.
That just shows you how confused and starved wrestling fans were for anything. Just give us anything.
Give me Larry Zbyszko versus
Bischoff's
Eric
hair
Bischoff.
looks weird too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Thanks.
man.
Shout out to
that was the-
Tony Schiavone for trying to put this bullshit
Tony
over.
Schiavone is the man.
He is,
is
because
the
I can hear
fucking
him
man.
trying. I can hear the effort him trying to make this sound like somebody should want to fucking watch this.
Tony Schiavone
Yeah, go to
is
sleep,
criminally
it just had no
underrated.
connotation.
I'll say it right now.
100%.
I think he's better than Jim Ross.
Woo.
I'll
I think Jim
take
Ross
that.
might agree with you right now, but overall, that's hard, bro. Because Schiavone took a lot of time off.
He did take a lot of time off, but that wasn't because
That's hard,
that wasn't
man.
his fault though. That wasn't his fault.
True.
You got to
And
be
he
a
was in baseball, so it
WCW
wasn't like
guy
he
to
just
have that
wasn't doing
opinion, though.
nothing. I was gonna
Yeah.
say, and that's why I was gonna say, like, I can't just for Southern wrestling, Tony Schiavone's the voice of it. WWF/E, Vince McMahon,
That shit
Jim
just
Ross,
flew out
Jerry
of his
King
fucking
Lawler.
foot.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, but it hit him though. And
That
and
shit
Brett
flew
saw
out
nothing.
long before it made contact, and Brett watched it fly.
Yep. This is so terrible, man.
That Brett's literally thinking like, what the fuck? At least I'm getting
What
paid.
is this?
Exactly. At least the check
He
cleared.
almost broke.
At least the
He
check
almost
cleared.
broke.
Thanks,
And
Dustin.
hey, Brett hates Bischoff too.
Oh yeah, as he should.
He calls him a maggot. That's his favorite word. He's
Oh,
nothing
yeah.
he's nothing but a maggot. He's the worst thing that ever happened to pro wrestling.
I saw him and Earl Hebner finally made up.
Yeah, they
from
kissed
the
and made
Montreal
up.
Screwjob today. I was like, Jesus,
Yeah, I
Bret
did see
Hart.
that. I saw that too.
Man,
Damn, Brett, holding your grudges.
I didn't know he
son.
was so forgiving. He must be really getting either sick again or he's getting just
He's
softer with his age.
Yeah. He's just tired of holding those grudges. He's on to other grudges like Triple H
Basically.
and Eric Bischoff.
What's he got against Triple H?
Oh, is he choking Bishop?
He's always hated Triple H.
More throat action
Man,
on the
that's
BA
wild to
show.
me. Yeah, he's choking Bischoff.
Well-
Yep, exactly. It's fourth straight week, I think.
Well,
Just-
Triple H infamously said in the Montreal Screwjob, "Fuck him. If he doesn't want to do business, we'll fucking do it for him."
Oh yes. Yeah. So Bret Hart said, and I meant that. It's basically what he said because
Yeah.
he's still fucking holding on to it.
Oh,
That's
Jesus. That
What
was
a
a
match.
long match.
So WCW still has Nitro. It's still called WCW Nitro. Thank God.
Who booked this
Oh my
shit?
God. All right. That was pretty bad.
Yes, and as we move on here, we get Bret Hart doing double time to the main event with the illustrious build as we were talking about earlier in the show. Fucking Sting versus Hogan. We're bringing out the big guns. As you know, he gets a nice royalty time anybody says those words that will never be uttered here on the BA show, because I ain't trying to get no FedEx letter at my front door. Michael Buffer.
Cease and desist.
Anytime you have Michael Buffer, it's big fight feels all day. And nonetheless here, that's what you need that for, as far as what we were built to have, as far as this main event. So yeah, we here, y'all. WCW title up for grabs. Hogan versus the Stinger. Timestamp here, wise man, as far as where we started.
Timestamp is going to be 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 26 seconds. And this is going to be Michael
Thank
Buffer
you.
introducing everyone. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start this in 3, 2, 1.
Lego. Is it?
Athletic commissions are the fucking.
I was about to say, like,
They're the biggest scam artists of all time.
oh yeah. I
And
need to
here
get on
here
that
in
scam.
Louisiana, they are fucking tough to get. There's like a bunch of rules, and that's
Oh, I'm
part of the
sure
reason.
because you get up there, you can basically write your own check type stuff.
Yeah, and it's hard for like independents to get over around here because of those
Oh,
all those
associate.
rules.
Shitty.
Yeah, it is shitty. So, I know we'll get into the controversy, but anybody watching along, I want everybody to, if you've never seen this match, to see, does Sting look like a pro wrestler right here? Because that's part of the controversy right here.
And
You know?
again, God bless Tony Schiavone because there's some comments he makes about Sting, and I'm just like, he shouldn't have drawn attention
Remember,
to
I
his
even
arms.
made that comment when we first talked
Like-
about this. Is the
Right, I was
dumbass
like,
comment of Sting looks out of shape. He doesn't look like a pro wrestler. Like what? What kind of shit is that?
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I
LED Sting son. Okay.
This right here is the epitome of
97,
my
brother.
of my hatred of Terry Bollea.
Oh man, it's like I feel like I'm at a group therapy session right now.
Air that bitch
Sit down.
out.
Yes, my name is J-Bone, and I hate Terry Bollea. Oh shit. Now, brother J-Bone, as we come to the congregation of the hate of Big Terry, Big T-Bone here, what are your biggest grievances as far as this particular evening, as far as Big Terry?
Well, this particular evening, amongst other things, grievances that he's had in his life and career. But this one in particular is the politicking that's going on in the back. So
let's get into it, because I know Hogan loves his politics, but I'm not too familiar with the particular politics that were being played outside of what was said in public. So let me hear what was Hogan up
in
to.
public. I mean, wasn't a whole lot. I mean, he was in Hollywood Hogan mode, but behind the scenes,
This is all
a couple things I
backstage
read. Nick Patrick. We'll look at the count, but there's two different things going on at this time. Hogan's telling him, "Hey, we need a nice slow count," and Sting says, "Hey, we need that fast count." So Nick Patrick he's crossed. He's crossed up. So we'll just get into that, and that's obviously when we get into it. But Big Terry,
Hogan purposefully confused him.
Yeah, he's stroking that Fu Manchu, saying, "It's not gonna work for me, brother."
Oh, it's creative clause in this here contract says.
And I will always say, God bless Chris Jericho, because Chris Jericho is what Hollywood Hogan should have been. Chris Jericho to AEW is what Hogan should have been to WCW. Jericho continually puts guys over. He looks for the company first, looks to build the company, which ultimately builds his legacy. Whereas now, hindsight 2020, you see this stuff that Hogan does, and it's, I mean, that was not the only thing, obviously, but it's really tarnished his legacy. So
to say the least, as the Stinger gets ready to come out after Big Terry made his entrance, something that really bothers me, man. I think J-Bone, you might already know where I'm going with Sting's entrance for this particular show. Considering this is his first match, this new gimmick, and he has been arriving and exiting the arena from the rafters. Why the fuck is this man walking down the fucking aisle? Why? It looks so small time.
Out of place.
Like,
out
look
of
at these bullshit fireworks. Pop, poop, pop, pew.
little firecrackers.
Like, bullshit. Tell me you care, but you don't care, Eric Bischoff. Right. Sting looks like he could care less. That little just haphazard. I like how he was stretching his arms out.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's rough, man.
It's hard to care whenever you're getting thrown under the bus. You're gonna get thrown under the bus. And
that's a good point. Wow, yeah, I didn't think maybe Sting knew the bag was in already. Like he saw Hogan's contract. He was like, well, "This guy's gonna pull some bullshit." He saw them zeros in that clause. Oh yeah.
I do think Sting looks good. I mean, yeah, he's not as big as he normally is. But
he didn't bother me to that point. It didn't, but they drew attention to it.
Right.
And it shouldn't have, you don't do that. That's what I'm saying. Like, there were so many missteps. People weren't thinking about what this is gonna look like when it's in the ring. It was all the hype around it. And I know Sting has some personal shit going on in his life at this time too. Lord knows we cannot judge. But at that point, y'all know what was going on. Y'all can dress this up differently than the way they brought it out here. And then I don't think I hate a wrestler style more than Hogan in this era. It is abysmal. I hate watching Hogan wrestle matches because it's like, I'm gonna walk around, I'm gonna fucking posture to the crowd. I'm gonna step outside. He even fucking too sweet somebody back into the ring, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, get to the graps, goddammit. Like, Hogan is the master of wasting 7 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's working the crowd.
Wasting time. I'm sure there's some clause in his contract where if a match goes past 10 minutes, he gets an extra fucking $100,000 or something ridiculous. Like, you can't tell me. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Working the contract.
Sting.
Hogan definitely helped. I mean, you can't deny what he's done for the wrestling business, but you can also, in the same breath, say that he also hurt the wrestling business.
He ain't no one to
Very much
leave
so.
the top spot. That's the problem. Like, Hogan, like this NWO thing, I mean, it definitely had legs and it was popular, but Hogan, I feel like Hogan he kind of messed up the whole thing because it could have been so much better if you didn't have him trying to steal all the shine at the top, to the point of the B team comment earlier in the show. So yeah, you put somebody else in that spot to your Chris Jericho comparison, and Lord knows I've had my Chris Jericho judgments on the main show, but I cannot deny him and Terry completely different in these spots.
Right.
And even though Jericho, I mean, like I said, that not my favorite AEW guy as far as how he moved, but he did a lot more for talent than Terry did inside WCW.
And that's what I'm saying.
I can't deny that.
Like, yes, Hogan made the wrestling business a big boom, but if he would have cared more about WCW as a whole and said, "Hey, I'm going to put this company on my back," like Chris Jericho did, you know, we could have seen WCW potentially last a lot longer. You know, I know there was a lot of things, not just on Hogan. There's a lot of other things at play. AOL Time Warner merger happened. You had, you know, the change in leadership happened. You had, you know, crazy booking decisions. But had Hogan
Horace
said, "Hey,
Hogan.
I'm just gonna do business, and I'm gonna take care of Sting here. We're gonna put on a good match, and we're gonna build to something that what it should have been." We could be talking WCW still here. Maybe they beat WWE in the war. Who knows? You know.
I mean, I can't argue the dream that way. Or I can't help but argue but the dream that way, I should say, because Hogan was moving different. And to that point, though, when I think about Hogan and his like whole place in this, like he never had that wherewithal. So think about how Hogan came up. Period. Like he came up, he was straight from 0 to 100. There was no build up for Hulk Hogan. It went straight from just he was in AWA, and then Vince bought out the territories. Vince got this big brooding blonde guy that he could pair against his big bad heel, the Sheik. Fucking Hulkamania is born, brother, and they're printing money for the next fucking 10 years. So, like, that's all he knew coming in here. So then that's why he struggled in the beginning, because he didn't know how to build anything. It was just, let me bring my friends in, brother, and I'll just battle the Dungeon of Doom and some of the worst fucking wrestling on God's green earth. So, yeah, so and I can't believe I'm here fucking throwing Terry Bollea any fucking like hay here, but here we are.
Yeah, that's surprising. I'm just listening.
Why is it?
But that's a good point, though. It is a good point.
I never thought about it, but when you, like I said, as I sit here and kind of, I hear you talk about it, J-Bone, and I can't argue with it. Like, Hogan's selfish as shit, but Hogan's like that. Like, you think about, like, if you're in a family and you're a sibling and you're like the middle child, and Hogan's like the prestigious oldest kid that gets everything. And he doesn't leave anything for anybody else. Like the family loved him, and he never made any room for anybody else to get any room until he just disappears from the house and we got 2 other kids too. Like that's the vibes that Hogan left, and it's not to his fault. His parents he had Vince as his parent. Vince just spoon fed him and let him do whatever the fuck he wanted, to the point of why Bret Hart hates Hogan in the first place. WrestleMania 9. According to Hogan, Vince signed off on all that shit. Again, and that's another thing with Hogan. There's always fucking 2 different truths. It's always something with Hogan. Like
Always a
where
story. Always sides.
he said something, Vince act like nothing happened, and the other person gets fucked over, and Hogan and Vince are somewhere laughing somewhere about it. Like that's the guy that you got trying to run your company, to the point where Jericho saw this shit, got squashed by it, and knew when he was ever in that spot he would never be that way. Which, to the point of what you're saying, J-Bone, why Jericho's move way better with that torch than Mr. Hogan here ever did.
Yeah.
Man, I can't
Sure.
believe I just fucking put over Hulk Hogan on this show.
That's
what?
okay.
Exceptional.
You
I'm
know
gonna
it's the end of
clip this.
2023.
Oh man,
Please
no! Don't do that. We don't.
Not
We
for the
don't.
Church of the Terry haters. Oh man.
BA puts over
Don't do
Terry
that.
Bollea.
We can't
That's
do
a
that.
fat ass clip going right up everywhere as soon as we start that.
I can't believe it. But to that point though, and I think this also I was gonna bring up, to your point of Terry being on his bullshit in this match, the ending. When we get there, I put that all on Hogan more than anybody. But we'll talk about it
Yeah.
when we see it. I'll bring it up, and me and the wise man discussed this during our pre-potting and prep for this show. But I put that all on Hogan, and we'll talk about it after we get done crawling there, because Hogan's pacing in matches is ridiculous.
God.
This era of Hogan, he never, every match was interfered in. He never did anything special. Outside of his interests being dope, there was nothing to Hulk Hogan at this era. He was so over. Man, dirty work.
You could argue he really didn't change too much from his in-ring work.
Not a lick.
Nah,
That's
he
what
just
I'm
added
saying.
more back
Outside
breaks,
of just
eye
being a
pokes.
heel and getting interference.
Yeah.
All he did
Facts.
was reverse whenever he did whenever he got the heat. Instead of getting the heat, he or giving the heat, instead of receiving the heat, he gave the heat. Throughout the
Yep.
match.
Doing the shit to get the crowd mad instead of getting the crowd pumped. Yep. Showman at his heart.
Gotta be.
But life.
Vince instilled that shit in him.
life. Scumbag.
Hogan must
For
pose.
life.
Yep. That's the problem, man. That is part of the problem. Now it's people must throw trash at Hogan in this era, as far as these shows.
I love to see
Yeah,
it.
I got a lot of issues with Hogan, obviously.
I mean, we all do here. It's well
I hate how he
documented.
talks about Macho like they're best friends.
Oh, Macho doesn't like it either. I already
Yeah.
know.
Oh, well,
From
you know
the
that.
grave, he's man.
Yeah.
Like we'll just have a whole episode called the Terry Bollea support group, and we'll just all air our grievances
Yeah,
about
for real.
Hulk Hogan.
I mean, he did lie to all of us growing up. At least me and J-Bone. I feel like I was sold a bag of goods from fucking.
He's
Hulk
still,
Hogan.
he's still lying because he said the motherfucker said he just got on there on the Theophon podcast and said, "Oh brother, let me tell you, my life changed when I started saying the prayers and vitamins."
Yep. Yeah, now he's saved. Yes, I
but
do.
wait, you had sex with your best friend's wife and started throwing out bullshit on camera.
What
but,
in bomb, brother?
Yeah.
So yes, to that
I
point,
Said Niagara.
I'm getting half hot here now. I'm getting.
I get it, man. Terry, it's not hard to get riled up to want to be on some I hate Hulk Hogan shit when you really break down the script of that he's written over his career. As far as just being all about Terry, man, and not being about anybody else in those locker rooms. I mean, it's well done. Like Jesse Ventura, like he talks about it.
Football.
Oh yeah, how he stopped a fucking union from being created. because WrestleMania 3 was about to make Hogan a fucking household name and a cajillionaire.
Oh yeah.
So to that point, Vince, because Hogan came in and snitched on everybody, he became Vince's favorite son at that era of Vince. So Hogan could do no wrong up until he did wrong in the steroid trials and shit, and he shrunk down and went to WCW.
Shrunk down.
And floundered until the NWO saved him. Because I think if the NWO never comes, Hulk Hogan's career just ends with WWF shit being the most ceremony and stuff he did. And he can't even come back to WWF in this era if he doesn't switch up, because nobody wants to see that red and yellow bullshit and attitude era. He doesn't come back yet. It's so interesting how this NWO thing didn't work out how it worked out, how his career probably that's it right there. There's no extra Hogan run, meaningful Hogan runs, I should say.
I want to say during this time too, maybe a little bit later on, there was talks with him and Vince for him to come back too.
That's wild.
You know, imagine
maybe because
Hulk,
he saw Austin Warrior went back.
Yeah, imagine Hulk in the Attitude Era, like with Stone Cold Steve Austin. It'd be horrible.
Bad, baby, because Vince would have felt inclined to try to book him in the top spot.
Oh yeah, you got to do red and yellow, brother.
Oh,
Hawk rules,
man.
Brother. See you later, Steve.
Or if I would have saw them fucking leg drops in the Attitude Era, I would have
Stone Cold. If they would have made Stone Cold like whoop his ass all the time, that would have made it. Only way it would have made it work. But I don't think Hogan's signing off on that. Here we go.
Yeah,
this is the spot. Hogan's got to roll with it.
Hold on,
Hogan's
brother.
got to act like he wins. That's why I blame it on Hogan. And he does do it, but he doesn't sell it all the way to the point of J-Bone. He's trying to act like he does it, but he doesn't.
He doesn't.
It's creating more confusion.
More confusion because Hulk said, hey, do a nice slow count. Make it look legit. And then Sting's like, hey, we got to do this fast count because that's what makes the story make sense here.
Right.
So you cross up Nick Patrick, and poor Nick Patrick, he's a referee. He's just trying to do his job.
Right. But Hogan doesn't care.
Mean ass stinker splash.
Hogan's here
God
for chaos. Oh yeah. 'Cause he's probably pissed off at Hogan's bitch ass.
Oh, here go Buff off
You
the
just
stuff.
fuck this whole build up because you want to be on your self.
Buff is the stuff.
Here we go. NWO. Coming
Same
in
old bullshit.
For life.
Right.
Here comes this weak
is
ass
such a
finish.
Stupid ending.
And he points. I do like how he points at Brett right here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's Tony Giovanni saying that.
Dusty, sit down on him.
Sit down on him. Let's go, baby.
Lock it in. Oh my God.
Nobody cares.
And they try to empty the fucking locker room on his ass. Like,
This is all
my
night,
God.
baby.
There's all Paul White right there.
Was that Father James Mitchell?
Lex. Yeah, he's there.
Yep.
He just got done doing a little coke.
Rocco Rock. Oh, 100%.
A little.
Mortis, just in a mask and a trench coat.
So I will say though, as much as we've kind of shit on this pay-per-view, the build to this pay-per-view,
Phenomenal.
was so great.
Oh,
That I
100%.
I'm so it does bring me back as a little kid, just being so excited for this pay-per-view. Yes, it was a letdown overall, but man, it's just like seeing Sting like this was just phenomenal. And look,
Yeah, man.
I'm a huge Sting fan. Huge. I gotta tell you all a quick story as we're watching celebrating this. So early '90s Sting here. I go back probably 3-4 years old. I'm a fan, but at this time I'm probably like 5-6 years old. house show WCW, and I've told the story on my podcast several times, but I'm gonna tell it here. I was in the front row watching Sting versus Vader at a house show for
Nice.
the WCW championship, and I got my Sting face paint on, ready to rock and roll, loving this match. We leave the house show. This is my very first wrestling event, and me and my dad, and I think it was my uncle, was with us too. We're driving off and we're going back home. It's about a 45-minute drive. We stopped off to the gas station. I still got the Sting face paint on, and walk towards the gas station. And I see this car pull up. I vividly remember this to this day. Pulls up to this gas station, and out walks Harley Race and Vader. And I got the Sting face paint on still.
Oh man.
And so my dad's like, "Hey, let's go get you a little candy bar. Let's, whatever, celebrate this night." And I'm like, not happening. Go back to the car.
Hell yeah. I feel that.
But I love
heat.
Sting. I am happy with the way he's been portrayed in AEW, and as we kind of go up to his, his retirement match coming up here, Revolution.
Yep.
I'm glad to see him, kind of go out on his the way he wants to. So good for Sting.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
I can't be mad at that. Yeah, man. I as well, Stinger kid. Me and my brother love Sting. In a couple months here, I'll be having my brother on with us to talk about like the first pay-per-view that we had on tape.
Nice.
And watched religiously Super Brawl 2 in 1992. I already know J-Bone probably know the vibes. The things that stick out about that card, as I'm sure me and my brother are gonna get into, because that Jushin Thunder Liger and Brian Pillman match that opens up the card for the light heavyweight title. Ridiculous. That's like the first memories of like wrestling, to the point of like WCW was real wrestling to me, and WWF was characters. Like, you watch WWF to get scared by The Undertaker, and to see Ted DiBiase shove money down people's throats, and you watch WCW to see shit like Jushin Thunder Liger, who looked like a Power Ranger, wrestling Brian Pillman, who's doing all this crazy shit too. And you're like, oh, who the fuck is this guy? Oh, he used to play for the Bengals. Oh, I'm from Ohio. I fucks with that. Like, that's kind of like that. So that resonated a lot. So with that said, to the Stinger shout out, Sting dude all day. As far as resonation, I mean, I feel like there's guys where, like, I feel like I was bigger. Like, if you asked me if I, like, as a kid, who I'd pick, Bret Hart or Sting, I'd pick Bret Hart. But when I watched WCW, Sting was one of my favorite people to watch. So to that point,
I fuck with that.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. But yeah, like we said, end of the card, Starcade 97 in the books. Fellas, we always try to give like a little letter grade on something we kind of review. As far as just where you would put it at. Don't want to be a rude house. What's the word I'm looking for?
Host.
We're not the guest.
Host.
We would be.
You don't want to be a rude
host.
host.
I don't want to be a rude host. Yes. Thank you. Words are hard, pal. I don't want to be a rude host. So, J-Bone, if you were to rate this letter grade, what would you give Starcade 97?
It's so tough. I mean, because, like I said, the feelings of going into this pay-per-view, I was so excited as a kid. And I mean, this is like the epitome of, being 12, 13-year-old kid. Just watching it back, obviously the card wasn't great, but I'm gonna say C+. C+.
Got you.
No.
I think that's fair. I think a lot of disappointment resonates with me too. When I watched this, like, it wasn't feelings of like, damn, I missed this. It was just like, fuck, they fucked this up. When I watched this, there was no feelings of like, damn, man, this was really fun watching this pay-per-view. It's the only thing that stuck out, it was just like, man, it was just weird vibes. And then I didn't feel like the Sting match was a big deal to me at the end of the day. That was the things that stuck out. So I feel you on that C+. Wise Man, what would you rate this from your retrospective viewpoint of 97 Starcade?
I'm giving this one a strong 6 out of 10. And the reason I do that comes back to points that I made in the Monday Night Wars episode, and also J-Bone. They would have lasted a lot longer if they didn't fuck up this pay-per-view. Quite a bit longer.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
This is
weird vibes.
This is that point. This is the pivot.
Weird vibes, good matches. 6 out of 10. I give it. What is that? A D? A C maybe?
That would be a D.
It's okay. Below average.
I'd say
Below
D
average.
plus C minus when I hear that.
Below
All
average.
fair, man.
Definitely.
With that said, I'm gonna stick to the letter grade half of it. C minus on my side. Lots of disappointment rung within me. There was some still good stuff on here. Like I said, the opener, DDP going over on Kurt Hennig made sense and looked good for the time, but there were just other things that just didn't make sense. Like where the fuck Kevin Nash was at, don't know. I feel like he's a vital part of this, him being a big vital member of the NWO. Eric Bischoff's an autopilot, and if he sits in Gorilla, he wasn't there. Can't tell me he was. Can't prove it to me unless I saw a photo evidence of him sitting there talking to people as they came to and from the ring. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, man, and just the booking blunders at the end, how the usage of Bret Hart, the Hogan and his bullshit showing its true face, him not knowing better on how to kind of roll with that botch at the end, or how about not creating the botch at all by giving Nick Patrick bad information. So yeah, this is a big old heaping dose of them getting in their own way. Don't know why. And they even had somebody from the competitor, one of the biggest stars of their competitor, just freshly arriving into their roster. So how they blow this, you got to try to blow it, in my opinion.
I think that's
it.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that C minus I feel like is well earned. I'm probably being too nice, as I always am here. But that said, man, that's another episode in the bag of the BA Show. J-Bone, our illustrious guest, thank you so much for coming
Thank
to
you
join
guys. So much
and
fun.
talk some 97 graps with us, man. Tell the listeners where they can find you and listen to your great content, my friend.
Absolutely. You can head over to comingdowntheaislepod.com, where you can find, me just dropping out. I do kind of been recently here, been kind of going back and forth each week. Me and my buddy Miles, we'll do a episode 1 week where we just do the list. We'll do a top 10 of some certain subject. But this particular week, we did a draft of, speaking of 1997 wrestling, where we drafted from 1997 rosters, WWF, WCW, ECW, to create our own promotion. Just a little something fun to kind of change it up. But we'll do the top 10 lists of certain subject, like we've done Psycho Sid, X-Pac, we've done Top Heels, we've done Survivor Series matches, Royal Rumbles, you name it.
I liked your X-Pac episode. I did listen to the X-Pac episode.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the better ones for sure we've done. And then we also, we'll have a guest. You guys were been on too. I'll break down kind of current product, but then we'll do watch-alongs, and talk to other wrestling fans, other wrestling podcasters, creators. Man, these high noons are getting to me a little bit.
Hey, baby, it's cool, brother. Hey, it's late night. We get it in on the late night reps, brother. No, cool. You cool, brother? No worries.
So we do that, and then also you can also check me out at the Turnbuckle Tavern at theturnbuckletavern.com. Each and every Tuesday night, we hit up the Raw Down over there, where myself and the MVP Marco, we break down everything WWE over there. So I'm busy. I'm a busy guy.
About to say, man.
Sounds
a lot of
like
podcasting over here, man. Yes. in these pod streets, man. Go check this man out, man. Definitely some good content. Like you said, we appeared on this show as a pod family ourselves here. Me, the Wise Man, E-Ray, and A-Dub from the main show, Let Me Book the Territory, came on and had a hell of a time on this man's show watching some a match we all somehow agreed upon that we all liked, which is very hard for us to do. And that takeover match from NXT in 2019. Wise Man, where can these beautiful listeners of ours find you, sir?
Well, that is a simple answer. It is going to be at Fourth Rope on Twitter every other Wednesday here on the BA show. And then you might not hear my voice, but you can hear my wonderful background work mixing the territory every Friday. And that's everywhere you can find, any podcast that you listen to, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio. You could probably get it illegally somehow, if that's even a thing. So yeah,
you don't even got to do that. Give us those real listens. We need them real downloads.
Exactly.
Don't sneak attack us. You don't got to do all that. We give it to you for free, baby. Good shit, Wise Man. And as I get ready to do my stuff, I wanted to also give a special shout out to J-Bone because after we appeared on his show, the Wise Man and I took it upon ourselves to integrate watch-alongs into ours. So I'd be remiss if I didn't give another content creator his due, because he gave us the confidence. Like, damn, that shit was fun, man. Let's start doing that shit here. So thank you, J-Bone, for showing us the way, kind of adding wrinkles into our stuff, man.
Yeah, man.
Yes, that's the beautiful thing about the content world, man. You gotta take what you love and keep trying stuff and keep on building to make it how you want to make it. So yeah, with that said, as y'all know, y'all can't find me ever individually anywhere. Sometimes running these different social media handles that my fellas and I can get somewhat ridiculous on. Twitter at Let Me Book Pod, Instagram at Let Me Book Pod, Facebook at Let Me Book Pod, letmebookpod.com/shop. That's where you can get all our merch. Go buy a t-shirt. Go freak out your family for the holidays with an Only Slam shirt on. They might think you got another job other than that, than the one that they know about. Go buy a sticker. Go grab a coaster. We got our dope-ass episode 100 cover that E-Ray made on a coaster now. I'm definitely about to get some for myself. I think there'll be some cool stocking stuffers. Outside of that, every Friday main show, Let Me Book the Territory, talking all the current graps with all the comedy in between of the culture. And then also here, as you know, BA show every other Wednesday, getting into all the old school graps with fun little special twists in between that. This being the last episode of 2023, I want to thank y'all for coming and listening. As far as if you've been with us all 19 so far, thank you. Appreciate y'all. This has been an endeavor in which I didn't think I'd ever do. And I couldn't have done it without my boy here, Sean. He's a big part of this. As he said, even though you don't hear him on the main show, and here he comes on and talks his stuff, he's a big part of why this machine is humming, being the engineer that he is. So with that being said, for the last time in the year of 2023, as the illustrious poet Sean Carter once said, may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Everything is motherfucking wrestling if you look hard enough. Let the madness wash over you. And let me tell you something, brother, why I'm gonna botch and mess up your main event. Jack. Peace out.
Doesn't work for me.